Hello. So quickly, do you have insomnia that is resistant to any treatments, medications? Like you have whole nights you can't sleep at all, did multiple days at a time where you can't sleep at all, maybe entire weeks where you can't sleep, maybe whole months you can't sleep at all. Maybe you can't remember the last time you slept. Maybe you're having psychotic breakdowns as a result of not being able to sleep. Maybe you have anxiety that's preventing you from sleeping. Whatever it is, stick with this video. We're going to get through it. Even if you just have like a normal problem sleeping, then definitely stick with the video. I got everything all written down right here I want to cover. This is going to be a great video for any of you with that problem, because I had the worst insomnia imaginable. Like, my grandmother had insomnia. My mom had worse insomnia. I had the worst insomnia. Multiple months I haven't slept. More weeks I haven't slept that I can count. Periods of 2 weeks where I haven't slept. Like, I know verbatim exactly how my body reacts to day 1, no sleep, day 2, days no sleep, day 3, no sleep, day 4, no sleep, day 5, no sleep, day 6, no sleep, day 7, no sleep, day 8, no sleep, day 9, no sleep, day 10, no sleep. I just know, because I've been through that every variation so many times. Then like go 4 days without sleeping, and then you get a night of sleep, and you go another 4 days without sleeping, you get 1 night of sleep, and then you don't sleep for a week, and you get 2 nights of sleep, and you don't sleep for another week, and all that. It's really, really, really bad. But anyway, though, insomnia is really common. So when I was going through this, I had this belief that like no one else was really going through this. And they weren't going through something that's as bad as what I was going through. This is it's cold in the house, so I got these gloves on. But they weren't going through something as bad as what I was going through, because I couldn't take any medications to help. Medications didn't help. Maybe I take melatonin one night and then that would work, and then it wouldn't work again for 3 weeks. And then I take like Benadryl, like a ton of Benadryl one night, and then that I take the same, like even double that with melatonin the next night, and that wouldn't work. So drugs kind of work, but weren't like, they would kind of work sometimes. But if I tried to use them consistently, they wouldn't work at all. And then I'd become like dependent on them. And then I would need them to even maybe get the slightest bit of sleep. So I researched drugs, and I found that basically drugs will make you more dependent. So my insomnia was so bad that after I fixed it, I just wanted to validate that I was sane. I was like, was that real? Like, did I hallucinate that? Like, I had psychotic breaks throughout the time I had insomnia. I'm like, was that, did I also like you saying, like, am I schizophrenic? Is the schizophrenia not insomnia? Which, if you have really bad insomnia, you'll ask yourself, you'll be like, is this actually schizophrenia or is this insomnia? I don't really know. And it's insomnia. So, but I verified. I went and I found hundreds and thousands of other people in my health coaching practice that had insomnia of a similar type to the type I had. So I was like, okay, I'm actually not crazy. Like, I mean, I knew I wasn't crazy anyway, but like, you can only know you're not crazy so much when you're the only person you've ever heard of who hasn't slept for a month before. And this thing was just like dominating my life, like just ruining my life. Like, I couldn't like make friends. I was having trouble making friends to some degree, because I couldn't like keep social engagements, because I would not sleep and I would be able to go to the social engagement. I would like struggle to like get jobs, or like even like take the SAT was hard, because I wouldn't be able to sleep the night before the SAT. I wouldn't sleep the week before the SAT. I just took it even not sleeping, but I just rescheduled it so many times because I just wasn't sleeping. I was like, I wouldn't sleep that night, and then I just reschedule it because what am I going to do? And then I wouldn't sleep that. It's like the week or so. That week I would be getting terrible sleep, and I was just eventually just took it, not getting really any sleep. But really hurt me in school. Really hurt me in just like a lot. I mean, it hurt me in the fact that it dominated my entire life and made it so the only thing I focused on for like the better part, a little more than a decade, was just, and even now is just sleeping. I mean, even now that I fixed it, like, let's be real. Like, earlier this week, there were 2 nights I slept 4 hours. I mean, I slept. Like, I don't not sleep at all anymore, really, unless I accidentally consume the wrong thing or something goes really wrong, or I'm too stressed. Like, I usually don't ever let it get to that. But I had 2 nights where I just didn't get like 4 hours of sleep. 4 hours of sleep. So now I'm doing cyclic carnivore. I'm back on carnivore. Slept great last night. Probably gonna sleep great tonight. I'm just doing really fatty steaks. Like, the ribeyes have been on sale recently, so I just bought some ribeye, like pound of ribeye this morning. I got another pound all cooked up. I'm probably gonna eat before jujitsu tonight, and then that'll probably be the last time I eat today. And then I'll eat again tomorrow. And I've been sleeping though, so it's like I have to keep on this stuff to like keep sleeping. I meditated too, like meditating really helps with sleeping, but it's like doing all this supplementation, keeping my body extra like healthy, staying hydrated, keeping my electrolytes good, like it's a whole bunch of stuff. Benadryl I find helps now too. Like if I get like restless insomnia, I take Benadryl now. Like I try to make sure it's a really pure diphenhydramine, but that works now. And before it didn't work at all. Now it works because now it's just a histamine problem. It's just my gut producing too much histamine. So I take an antihistamine and it goes away. So yeah, I mean, gut bacteria, like probiotics are really helpful for that reason too, because gut production of histamine can play into insomnia. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that causes insomnia. And if you're having insomnia with any sort of regularity, then you definitely have some sort of underlying problem, be that gut problem, be that nutritional problem, be that autoimmune problem, be that complex health problem that's causing it. And taking drugs to fix it, while good in some sense, because you're actually sleeping. Like if you didn't sleep at all, that's bad. Just not sleeping is bad. So taking drugs to sleep is better than not sleeping. But the drugs aren't fixing the underlying problem. So you're still not sleeping. So you're just going to keep on getting worse. And this is what I found for all the people that I coached and that I talked to throughout my coaching practice was that like thousands of people just go on insomnia subreddit, go on insomnia Facebook groups, go on any number of these places where people have insomnia, gather and talk to any of them. You can hear similar stories. But basically, I talked to these people and the pattern would go thusly. Like they would start, like I had insomnia my whole life, but most people haven't. Most people develop insomnia, like they're going along, their life is fine, they don't have really any health problems, and then they develop some health problems or they develop insomnia. Insomnia might be the first problem they develop. Usually it's the second. Usually there's gut problems that develop first. There's other things that develop first, and then insomnia comes later. But once insomnia develops, usually their health starts going down the toilet very quickly. Gut will go to poops very quickly. IBS shortly follows, which I've experienced again and again and again. When you have insomnia, you get IBS because you can't sleep, your gut doesn't work. So you just have constant diarrhea. And they had that throughout my whole childhood, which I recently found out wasn't normal, like that people consider that a sickness. I just had diarrhea like probably once a week on average for most of my life. That's been going away though. And that has gone away at certain times. There's certain things I'll talk about in other videos. So check out my other videos to get more information on fixing that chronic diarrhea IBS problem. But IBS and insomnia go together, anxiety goes together, and then usually your life just starts falling apart. I've been very fortunate my parents have been able to help me and support me, so I haven't died. But like lots of people who have these sorts of health problems usually just die. I mean, I talk to them like I'm trying to health coach them. And I'm like, hey, so like, let's like buy some healthy food and blah, 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 and like, let's do the stuff we got to do. And they're just like, I don't have any money because I can't work a job because I can't sleep because my health's falling apart and I can't do any of this stuff. And I'm just like behind on my rent and I'm going to become homeless. And then I'm like, so what's your plan? They're like, I don't have a plan. I'm just panicking. I'm in a constant stress state. And I'm like, so, and then like they're just like living, like this guy was living in a tent that I talked to behind this dude's house that he used to have sex with. Used to have relations with. Yeah, it's sad. Like people live really messed up lives. Something my dad told me when I was young, and it's proved accurate. He said, Devin, people live really messed up lives. And like now having talked to a dude who lives in the tent behind his ex-boyfriend's house and he can't sleep and he's dying and like pooping his brains out, peeing blood and can't sleep. I'm laughing because it's so horrible. Like I've cried in other videos. It's just like this just horror thing that like eating our culture out. Like the whole mental health epidemic is just a mask for the health epidemic. The meaning epidemic is a mask for the health epidemic. Like our culture as a whole sacrificed its health for material gain and is now reaping the twisted rewards of that in the multi-generational impact of diminishing health. that's causing, like, most of Gen Z is really messed up physically, or like I'd say about a third of Gen Z has some serious physical or mental issue, at least, probably like half. But basically, though, I talk to these people and like everyone has it. It's so common. So that's the real thing. Like I want you guys like to understand one of the things. It's so common. Like I didn't think insomnia was this common. I thought that it was some novel thing. I was like, okay, like I'm probably the only person who really has insomnia, but it's really common. And you're like, well, why is no one talking about it? And the thing, this is the most messed up thing I saw. It's a study that was inquiring into this very topic. Why is this treatment-resistant insomnia not being talked about? And the reason that the study concluded, I wish I could link the study, but I can't find the study right now. I'll have to go find it when I have more time. But the study concluded that if any of you find the study, let me know, because I'd love to see that again and like have the link. But the study concluded that the reason there was no data on long-term cases of treatment-resistant insomnia, despite the fact that there were many, is that everyone who has long-term treatment-resistant insomnia kills themselves, usually within 2 years. And that's actually pretty accurate with what I found on Reddit too. I didn't find anyone on Reddit who'd had insomnia like that for longer than 2 years. Like the treatment-resistant kind where you're taking the medications and like you can't sleep for weeks on end. It was 2 years was like the cutoff. Like anyone who, I don't know, like I think maybe they've like off themselves or something. I mean, that was pretty consistent. So it makes sense though. Like it's just, you have to like kind of be insane to not kill yourself when you haven't slept for weeks on end. You have no reason to believe it will ever get better, and it's only getting worse, and all of your health is deteriorating constantly despite everything you're doing, and you just keep on getting worse and worse and worse, and you can't sleep and you're panicking. Your brain can't get rid of cortisol because you're just so jacked up on cortisol because you sleep to get rid of cortisol. You sleep to heal your body. Your body can't heal itself, so everything aches constantly. Like your muscles ache, your bones hurt, like your tendons hurt, your circulatory system hurts, your heart hurts, your like liver hurts, your brain hurts, your eyes hurt, like everything hurts when you haven't slept for over 5 days. And you just keep on getting worse and worse and worse and worse. This is what I experienced with people I've talked to, experience. Thousands of people go on the Reddit, go on these Facebook groups. They're just all there. You can find them. Just put in some effort to find people with insomnia. They're out there. It's not uncommon. I just met a woman at the gym. I talk to people about my story. I say, hey, look, because I'll start talking to them and they'll be like, oh, hey, what do you do? I'm like, I do health coaching. Oh, why do you do health coaching? Well, I had insomnia for 19 years. Oh, you have insomnia? Oh, had. Well, kind of still have some sleep problems, but I fix them all. I know how to deal with it. You really had insomnia? Yeah. I don't really have some sleep problems and stuff. And it always starts that way, but then they don't realize it'll get worse. It just gets worse. Like you start, like when I was a little kid, I didn't have the sleep problems bad. Like I would probably not sleep like twice a week when I was like a little kid. It was great, whatever. A little kid, just stay up all night reading. Like who cares? Like, and then like as I became a teenager, like hit puberty, that's when I got really like I say like 5th grade. It started like when I started hitting puberty, started getting bad. Like that was when I started like not sleeping. They just kept getting worse and worse and worse exponentially. But it doesn't start off bad. It starts just like insomnia. Like you're like, oh, sometimes I have trouble sleeping, and then that turns into like a few nights a week you can't sleep. Maybe once every month you have a night you can't sleep, and then it just gets worse. And it's consistent. It's consistent. I've found this pattern has been consistent for everyone I've talked to who has this type of insomnia. I mean, there's other types of insomnia where like, and maybe they can turn into that. Like, let's say you're just drinking too much coffee, you don't take magnesium, or you're nutritionally devoid. So you have some electrolyte imbalance you're causing by consuming diuretics or something, or you've dysregulated your circadian rhythm for some obvious reason, or you're overstressed, or like there's some obvious reason why you can't sleep. It's not just constant total insomnia for no reason, no matter what you do and how many drugs you take. That is a different thing. And it's worse. It's worse in this generation than previous generations because each generation that's exposed to toxins in the environment, toxins in food, there are so many toxins in food. I cannot eat 99.9% of what this culture produces and passes off as food. I just can't. If I do, I just get insomnia, gut blows out, and I start dying. And it's like, well, people die of cancer, and I haven't died of cancer, nor do I have cancer as far as I'm aware of. So, and I seem like the kind of person who would get cancer because every time I start eating this kind of food, I start dying, like aggressively dying. So don't get it twisted. Like modern food is completely poisonous. Like all the stuff at the fast food joint, like anything mass produced, like the pure meat, the pure stuff in the outer aisles that's pure one ingredient is like good. Like the pure butter with salt, the pure cheese that's just cheese, the like pure yogurt that's just yogurt and nothing else. That stuff's like the pure meat, the pure apple that's an apple, and you're looking at it, it's an apple. The pure no sugar added applesauce that's just applesauce and ascorbic acid and water. Like that stuff is cool to eat. Everything else is not cool to eat. If you want French fries, you go make your own French fries with beef tallow and potatoes that you fry up on the stove. If you want popcorn, you make your own popcorn with butter and coconut oil and stuff. Like if you want to not die, like that's just what you do. Because if you eat the other stuff, you are gonna die. I talked to this one girl. It's a great time. So I was working this ABA job, and I was talking to this one woman who was also working the ABA job, for different case assigned. But I was talking to her. She's telling me about she's like, oh, let's go get McFlurries. And I'm just like, I don't want to go get McFlurries. She's like, why don't you want to get McFlurry? It's like, it's only available this season. I didn't even know what it was because I don't even pay attention to any of that stuff with McDonald's. And I was like, well, because I'll die. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I had insomnia, like this kind of insomnia. I described it to her. And I'm like, well, if I consume that, I will get that insomnia again. And then it will probably get worse and I'll die. I mean, if I just make a habit of consuming, it's miserable. Like, you know, I mean, like I'm going to drink that and then like my brain stops working. I get immediate brain fog. My gut blows out and I stop sleeping for like 2 days. Yay. That's insane. Why would I do that? But yeah, so she was like, oh, I have some health problems, but I just keep eating it anyway. And I'm like, she describes her health problems to me. And she just has like beginnings of IBS, beginnings of insomnia, beginnings of this stuff. And I'm like, so you know that what happens is you'll just keep getting worse till you pee blood, poop blood, and then you'll die and you'll have total insomnia. And because I've seen this happen to people, like people I've worked with, like who just like, they didn't go on my coaching, but they like talked to me and they couldn't like commit and they couldn't whatever, but I kept talking to them. I just see them, they just keep getting worse. I mean, I don't know if any of them has died yet, but I've seen them keep getting worse. And maybe they've died because they've stopped hitting me up and I haven't like followed up on everyone I've talked to. I imagine a lot of them have probably died. It's pretty quick. Like I've been doing this for a few years now and seeing as the mortality rate is about 2 years. Once you start getting this kind of insomnia, and I don't know if that's from like the health problems keep getting worse. Like a lot of the reason I think that I didn't kill myself was just because I figured out enough about health to like keep my health good enough to the point where I wasn't completely physically destroyed, even though I still had insomnia. Truly, and my parents could afford to buy me food to like they basically like funded whatever foods I wanted to eat growing up so I could experiment to figure out how to be healthy. And that's really necessary to figure this stuff out. But basically, even in like talking to doctors and stuff, people will talk to doctors and they get all these medications. And like Western medicine is really, really good for treating wartime diseases. Allopathy as a whole formed around wartime medicine. And as such, it's really good for treating the illnesses that soldiers would get, like pink eye, skin diseases. You have like temporary anxiety. I mean, you have like occasional anxiety that's like from a situation. They have Xanax for that. It really works well. You have fatigue. That's because you're just overworked because you're a soldier. They have drugs for that work really well for that. You have a joint problem. That's because your leg got injured. They're really good at fixing that. You have a joint problem that's from lifestyle disease. They have nothing that can possibly help you. They have no way of dealing with lifestyle diseases. Western medicine, as I understand it, was largely formed around the treatment of 18 to 24-year-olds who are the service age. I mean, that's what Western medicine's for. It's what allopathy is for. Largely, it's when it's developed. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. I go into other videos, and that I do go into other videos. But yeah, so wartime medicine, very, very bad at treating this chronic thing. Like you have insomnia because of stress is related to war. They'll give you drugs that'll knock you out. You have insomnia because you have genetic proclivity towards sensitivity to various foods that over time has destroyed your gut and led to autoimmunity, or led to the accumulation of toxins that's created autoimmunity that's now creating nutrient imbalances, gut problems, all this stuff that's contributing to insomnia, contributing to anxiety, that's contributing to insomnia, all this stuff. Western medicine's not going to do anything for you. At least I haven't seen it do anything for anyone, because even if the drugs work initially, they stop working eventually because the underlying cause of the insomnia progresses, progressing the intensity of the insomnia, necessitating more and more and more drugs that will eventually stop working. So, but it's really common though. Like, talk to people about this, like bring it up in your environment. Say, hey, I have insomnia. Like, check it out. It's really common. I think it's really common. And I think that sleep problems are this hidden epidemic that's going on, and people really aren't talking about it. Because even people who don't have insomnia the way I had it, they'll still have sleep problems, or they don't sleep great, or they have like issues with sleep for a million different reasons. And it's just so common in our society. Like, it seems to me, whenever I talk about my sleep problems, everyone's telling me, I have sleep problems, I have sleep problems, I have sleep problems. So I'm letting you guys all know, sleep problems are really common and they must be dealt with. These things are serious, and you have to like make serious changes. You have to be committed to actually learning about your body to figure out what's going on and fix this. Like, follow, and subscribe for more if you're still watching this. If you find this useful, I'm going to keep making content about this, and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. I also have some Facebook groups that I link to in other videos. I'll put those down in the description below, but stay active, keep researching insomnia. Comment down below. Let me know what you found useful. Let me know like what your specific insomnia is. Like, communicate with me. I can respond. I'm still small enough that I can respond to you, and I can give you individualized attention and help with whatever's going on. Because that's why I'm doing this. Like, I want to kill the insomnia demon, because that, I don't want to swear because they'll downvote my video, but that, like, I realized when I had insomnia and this demon thing in my head was just telling me to kill myself, and like the days, weeks, and months where I couldn't sleep. And I was like, you're a force outside of me that's evil. And since you're a force outside of me, I can kill you. So this is how I'm literally killing this thing. Like, this effing thing that tormented me for years, I'm gonna kill it. Like, like I tell people, I think I've lost my mind in the process of fixing my insomnia, but I'm gonna kill this thing. Like, I'm going, follow my stuff, guys. Tell other people we're gonna eradicate insomnia.